Hi and welcome to the breakdown where we analyze the week that was in the Dialog Rugby League. We're looking back at 4 games over the course of Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Let's see what happened. First match of the season, we had Kandy taking on CHNFC. That's the first place team from last year against the last place team from last year as well. And it was a much closer battle this time around. CHNFC rejuvenated side, back with a few big names as well in this year's lineup. But it was too much. Kandy managed to win that game 23 points to 6. But what's important to note is that Kandy only managed to score 3 points in the second half of that game. It was 20 points to 3 at the end of the first half and it finished 23 points to 6. And Kandy will go home and have a look at that second half performance and wonder where it was that things went wrong for them. They should have probably scored about 40 points, they would be thinking, but somehow they didn't manage to do that. CH managed to get in there and spoil a lot of their moves. A bit of a bad-tempered game as well. We'll have to look at whether the citing commissioner takes a further action against some of the players who are running in and causing a bit of a ruckus there. That's not the kind of spirit that we want to see over the course of this Dialog Rugby season. But in the end, a comfortable win for Kandy Sports Club. Moving next to Hemlocks versus Police, that was under lights at Havelock Park and a 36 points to 0 victory for the Hemlocks team, and it was a comfortable victory for them, largely made possible by the brilliance of Riza Mubarak, the individual brilliance from the boot. He had 11 points with the boot and scored a try as well, and that was a brilliant performance from Riza, which can really not talked enough about having a player who can put points over when they're on offer, and that's exactly what he managed to do. Keep the scoreboard ticking over, keeps the forwards going in the direction that they want to be going, and that does a lot for a team, which allows the midfield and which allows the fly half as well to make sure they're always going forward, because they don't have to be looking over their shoulder, because they know they have a guy who's as safe as houses at the back. So congratulations to Riza. He's got a special delivery last week as well, and backs it up with a fantastic fatherly performance as well at the back for Hemlocks. So 36 points to 0 is how that one finished. Police will need to do a lot. They've bled a lot of players because of their change of policy. No contracted players this season for them, and they will have to start building from scratch. This will be a testing time for them, and maybe in the next 2 or 3 years they'll build up a good team of policemen themselves. But at the moment, this season is going to be a difficult one for them, that is for sure. Next match we had was Navy versus Army, an interesting one there as well. Army coming close and getting a bonus point at the end of that game, and they'd be happy with that because that might count in the mid-placed finishers later on in the season. But in the end, it was a comfortable win for Navy, 20 points to 7. They were leading that one before Army scored a try towards the end. A lot of props need to go to Dulanjana Vijayasinghe, who was really the kingmaker there, created a couple of chances, scored 1 try as well. So he's leading from the front, and it's nice to see a front row forward coming in and taking control of an attack for a team. So Navy looking good this season. They'll be coming up against a big opposition next week, so let's see how that one goes as well. Then we had Air Force, who hosted CRNFC in that ground over in Ratmalana. It's a very difficult ground to play in if you haven't played there before. And a lot of the CR team has, though, you know where the wind is coming from, and it's a steady one-sided wind. And CR were playing into that in the first half, and they managed to score only 3 points. Air Force, in fact, the underdogs in that game, they were leading by 6 points to 3 at halftime in that match, but CR managing to win it by 21 points to 9 in the end. A couple of tries coming in towards the end of that game. One was a penalty try, and Charana Chamikara, who was playing surprisingly at second row, was the one who first breached the Air Force defense. So in the end, a comfortable win on the scoreboard for CRNFC, but it didn't look so good if you're expecting the fluency of attack from this nice, talented CRNFC team. Not understanding exactly why they're choosing to play Tarinder Atwat at 13. True, they have Shanaka Amerasinghe who's crossed over from Navy, but I don't think they need to include all these players in the squad. It's a 23-man game now, and if Tarinder started at 10, I think with Rehan Silva at 13, they might have been able to create a few more inroads into that Air Force defense. Let's see whether they make those positional changes for next week. And this week's games that we have to look forward to, CHNFC taking on Army. That should be a really closely contested game on Friday. We have Hemlocks taking on Air Force, that's also on Friday. That's a late game under lights at Havelock Park. Kandy will travel down to Colombo for the second time to take on Police at Police Park on Saturday. And we have CRNFC playing their first home game at Longdon Place against Navy. That's also going to be on Saturday. So some close games can be expected. Watch out for that CR Navy clash. We'll be live with most of those games on ThePapare.com for you. And before we go, just a question for you from our sponsors. Who was the highest point scorer in last year's concluded Dialog Rugby League? In 16 and 17, who was the highest point scorer? You'll get a very special gift courtesy of Dialog and Cavani coming to you from the breakdown.